What is going on, Lions fans? This is Tyler coming from you live from my new house. As you can see, I need to finish my background here. The background is not so pretty, but that's okay. Working from my SM57 here, and my Go Blue, yellow and blue boom arm here that my wife has purchased for me. Hey, not too bad for free. I mean, you can't beat that. But just curious to see how everybody's feeling today from, the high from last week. The last week's high was just amazing, freaking amazing for me. It's been so long coming to just see that fan base just come alive like that, the team respond the way that they responded. Just the different narratives that we had with Stafford coming back and Goff playing against the Rams and McVay and Brad Holmes coming back against his former team, just showing that he belongs as far as a general manager goes. And Dan Campbell finally just making a staple as far as what coaches, basically what coaches are in this league and, what we come to expect, because we have been so just beaten up year over year over year. And it's cool because, I can actually interact with some of the fans, Lions fans that are on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, just in my personal life, between my friends, families, coworkers, people, honestly, just strangers just going into the store wearing my Lions gear and just having conversations with them. It's just amazing that the pouring of support for this team and just how longing fans are to have what we have now. It's amazing. It's spoiling. I'm sure there are lofty goals that, Dan and the team have put on themselves as far as them being team-oriented or personal-oriented or whatever. Even financially oriented goals that some of these players have in their contracts, but even coaches, I guess, too. But it's just amazing to me that, those goals have been met and exceeded. And I've got to imagine they've been exceeded. We're in a year 3 of a rebuild from a regime that had just completely torn down, like literally torn down this franchise. We've had Caldwell and Mayhew and Lewan and things like that. I know I'm saying names that have just been, heartbreaking to Detroit in general, just heartbreaking. But they actually brought a team that was fairly competitive. We didn't see the wins. It didn't materialize into wins at all, by any means. But it was there. We had consistency. Obviously mediocre and below. I would say we were below average, but it was consistent. 8-8, 9-7, 10-6. Just constantly, just 9-7 wasn't good enough. 9-7 wasn't good enough. And when we got this regime that we thought, might be able to turn that page, but it did not. The Patriot way does not work. It is called the Patriot way for one reason. Patriots, New England, Bill Belichick, which is no longer in New England. That's going to become another team's way, whoever decides to hire Bill Belichick and or his subordinates, right? So we know we went through that painstakingly awful, like flat-out bad regime with Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia. And I apologize for swearing to you like that on live camera, microphone, just something that can be relived over and over again. And I apologize. I really do. But I want to paint this picture. 3 years into that regime, they completely spoiled whatever Caldwell had into that. They completely spoiled on whatever players we had in place that could potentially be built upon, right? Yes, we were at this flat line, but we needed a coach that was competent enough to take us above and beyond what we had. Did I like Caldwell? Yes. Did I want Caldwell gone? No. Did I like the players that we had? Absolutely. But we needed something. I don't know what that was. We needed something else. We needed a spark. We needed a player. We needed 3 players. I don't know what that was. We have that now. It is amazing to me how you can take an entire coaching staff of former players, set them in a room, look at a roster that we had, completely wipe out more than half of this roster or more, like a ton of it. There's very little carryover, right? And the carryover that we have is one of those things that they look at and they go, you know what, that carryover, it's great. They're supporting players. They're there. But they just got rid of them. Julian Okwara is a good example of that, right? Okwara is a great player. He was a great college player. He had issues with injuries, right? I was pulling for him. But then you look at a guy like James Houston, for example, right? I mean, this dude is a beast, built for the position. Like, there's no question as to what type of player James Houston is based on his build. This coaching staff is competent. They look at their roster and they go, you know what? This is a great player. You know, I think that Julian Okwara can be a great player in the right system for him. This wasn't it. They knew they could not coach this guy anymore for the system that they're trying to build into Detroit Lion football, right? So they know they have a guy in James Houston that can come in and do what he does. He is that spark plug, right? I am so interested to see this Tampa Bay game and how this coaching staff responds. In 3 years, they have completely flipped this roster over. Come in and your first move is to move Matthew Stafford, a staple in this league. Yes, he had ups and he had downs in this league, but he was a very good quarterback. I don't think any of us deny that. Very good quarterback. And honestly, he was a guy that could potentially take us there. Now, coaching held us back. Talent held us back. Now we have coaches that have been there, coaches that have played there, coaches that understand the grind of this game, coaches that can look at a player and say, you know what, that player right there needs a change of scenery. And we did that. We traded our franchise quarterback, guys. Franchise quarterback. You cannot sit here and say that you didn't think that Stafford was going to be a Lion forever. Cue the Sandlot scene. Forever. Right? I thought that. You thought that. And you'd be lying if you didn't think that. I just, it's amazing to me that this coaching staff in 3 small years, actually I would say a year and a half, because last year they more than did what we had expected they would do with the roster they had. And just the entire abysmal front office, just everything was so depressing, right? We see that still of Sheila Hamp sitting there going, oh my gosh, what the heck did I just do, right? And it is so cool to see these humble, just welcoming, wholesome people take over this team that have played in this league, understand what it takes to be a football player in this league, and turn it around as quickly as they did, right? We had a horrible year to start, right? 10-1, I think, before we got our first win against Minnesota in 21. And then it turned around and, we started really slow in 22. But to win 8 of 10 or whatever the number was, and to potentially sneak in on a second year of a rebuild. Rebuild. Completely flip the entire freaking roster. Gone, guys. Retool, I don't care. Whatever works for the narrative, I don't care. It was a rebuild, start over from scratch. And they nailed it. This regime can draft. This regime can recruit. This regime can build. This regime is just freaking kind. They are human beings first. And it's amazing. And then they can turn around and be a human being that is humble, a human being that is honest, a human being that can turn around and say, look, I've been in this grind. I've done the practices. I've been in the classroom. I've been through losses. I've been through wins. I've been through playoff wins, losses, whatever. I've been in the tournament, right? And to turn around and make a believer of 53 men on that roster, plus the reserves, plus the practice squad, and to turn around and say, you know what? We're going to play. We are going to play the game as we see fit, right? You and I have done it. You're watching this video. You and I have done it. You've gone in your backyard. You've drawn up plays. You know what works. You know what doesn't. When you turn around and play it like that and have fun, you have success. And we see that. The players were so stressed. They were so afraid to say something. They were so just monotonous. Just boom, 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 boom. Win, loss, whatever it is. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. No. Fix it. And they did. They did, guys. This season, too, in a year 3 of a rebuild of a 6-year contract plus more, you know that they're going to look at Campbell as far as extending them. Now, we're going to lose some really, really, really good coordinators. They were just up and coming. I mean, you just see how this league is built, right? Probably one or two more than others. I mean, we know we're probably going to lose on the offensive side because our offensive numbers are just brilliant for a young team, right? And to hit on the amount of picks that we've hit on is just phenomenal. You know, Hutchinson fell on our lap. Like, literally fell into our lap. And he may not be your prototypical D-end that people are used to seeing with the 20 sacks a game by the Watts and you name it, Khalil Mack, whatever. Doesn't matter. Bosa's. Hutchinson is something that is well above average. He may not be elite, but if you build that line a little bit differently than what we have, because you're still using legacy players and players that are more fill-in type players, you fill them in with players that are more centralized in what your defensive scheme is and not just more of a breather type player. Dude, look out. That guy is going to go off, right? We've hit on almost every one of our offensive position players between Amon-Ra and St. Brown. It's a very small sample size, but Jamison Williams right there has flashed his ability. Jahmyr Gibbs is, I think, one of these freak athletes that are just going to go off. And he's still learning the game, folks. Sam Laporta, same thing. Still learning the game, and he is a record-setting tight end right now. Right now. And he is not a focal point. St. Brown is the focal point. I'm just so passionate right now because I'm just so impressed with what we can do as a team. Now, I understand. Goals are, hey, let's get the playoffs. 1. Let's win a playoff game. 2. How many wins can we get? We just tied the franchise record for wins in a season with 12. That's 3 goals, right? You won a home playoff game, first time ever in Ford Field existence. 21 years in existence, right? 2002 was when that stadium opened up. That's 4 goals right there. Home playoff game, playoff win, and season high in wins. You won the North Division. I could say that's the fifth goal. What's standing in your way? Divisional Conference Championship, NFC Conference Championship. These are consolation prizes, folks. Like, even if they lost somehow to Tampa Bay, even Tampa's having a heck of a season. This postseason is telling you that these teams are ready to play. Flat out ready to play. I am so ready for this. So ready for Sunday. The narrative with the Rams and everything that, went down with that, I get it. Whatever. Brilliant game. Best game of the postseason anyways, because everything else has been a blowout. It's been a joke. This game with Tampa, another game. When can you look at anybody and say, you know what, the best 2 games so far in the tournament came from the Lions? Best. I don't know where those balloons came from, but I'll take them any day. I hope you saw the balloons, because if I'm talking about balloons and you didn't see the balloons, then you think I'm crazy. But the balloons came up while I'm recording this. So, here's what I know. I am freaking stoked about this team and what they can become in the years to come. This could be something that is a constant thing you see and you hear in the playoffs year after year. Are they going to win throughout the playoffs? I can't guarantee that. But I can guarantee you, if this coaching regime and this ownership and the council and all of that stuff that they have within that upper office continues to strike gold like they have, this is going to be a fun ride. Yes, we get frustrated with losses. As fans, you get complacent in the fact that you expect so much out of your teams when they start winning. This team is in a year 3 of a complete overhaul, rebuild or restart or retool or whatever you call. It is an overhaul, right? New coaching staff, very few holdovers, all new players, and it's so fun to watch. So fun. I'm so happy that we are in a divisional championship game, divisional position, to get out of this mess, get into that championship game, and own it. And just have fun. And if you lose, oh well. You had an awesome flipping year in year 3 of a complete overhaul. And we have competent people at the helm to do this. I cannot wait to talk to you again at this time and this point of the season next year. Let's enjoy this. Enjoy this ride. And even if there is eventually a pedestal knockoff with this team, the level of proud that we should feel as a fan base should be quite high. And I'm not even going to sit up here and say there should be a bar set. There's no bar. There's no bar. Play free, play hard, play fast, and play Detroit Lions. Enjoy this game, folks. It's going to be fun. Thanks for stopping by.